One, 1, 2. Check me out right here, yo.
Yo, the sun don't shine forever, but as long as it's here, then we might as well shine together. Better now than never, business before pleasure. P. Diddy and the fam, who you know do it better.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing good. Just wanted in this video to give my thoughts on the devastating injury that happened this past week to Deshaun Watson, young quarterback. It took the league by storm. One of my favorite athletes I've ever watched. For those of you that don't know, he's a rookie who came in the second half of the first game of the season for the Texans, and just took the league by storm, man. He's been a superstar. He had helped lead his team, put up some amazing stats, got his team some great wins, and in practice, after throwing for 400 plus yards against the Seahawks this past Sunday in a last second loss, in a game that was probably the best football game of the year. In practice this week, he had a non-contact ACL injury. He's going to be out for the season. It's just devastating, man. It's devastating for him personally. It's devastating for the Texans and the city of Houston after everything they've been through. And for them to finally find their franchise quarterback, and to have him go down like that, man, it's just, for, if you like football, if you like sports, period, it was a tough injury. It really devastated me, man. I'm not even a Texans fan. My team just beat the Texans this Sunday, but I don't know if I've ever enjoyed watching an athlete that does not play for one of my favorite teams. I don't know if I've ever enjoyed watching an athlete more. This is a guy who I've been watching him play, since early in his college career, and he's just captivating, man. He's just captivating. So I just wanted to kind of give some quick thoughts on the injury and what I expect going forward for Deshaun Watson, what I think is going to happen next for him. So when Deshaun originally at the NFL draft this year, he wasn't really projected to be the top quarterback. He ended up being, I believe, the third quarterback drafted. The Texans traded up to get him, but he went, I believe, 13th in the draft, and two quarterbacks went ahead of him. And he wasn't really highly regarded as someone who was going to be a superstar. He was, we all thought he'd be good. He was really good in college, but he wasn't regarded as a superstar franchise type quarterback. And I remember at the time of the draft, his college coach at Clemson, Dabo Swinney, came out and said that Deshaun Watson reminded him of Michael Jordan in the sense that he's going to be an absolute megastar franchise quarterback, in that in captivating in the way that Michael Jordan was as a basketball player. And that he also said that any team who did not draft Deshaun Watson would regret it, just like the Trailblazers not drafting Michael Jordan in 1984. And people kind of laughed at that, looked at it as hyperbole, laughed it off, said, I saw, people making fun of that. But at the time when he said it, I 100% agreed, because I watched this guy play in college, and I've never really seen an athlete, with the exception of maybe Tim Tebow, just will his team in a way like it's almost beyond sports. Like, what he did on the field was incredible. You could see he's a really talented player, but it was just like his presence, just him being there, carried his team to play beyond their capabilities. It was really fascinating, and I've watched a lot of sports. I watched a lot of college football. It was incredible. And so when his coach said that, I thought it was a little, a bit hyperbole at first, but when I thought about it, I was like, what, he's right. Like, I've never seen it. Deshaun Watson reminds me of Michael Jordan. Obviously, it's a different sport, but just his ability to both be an incredible player on the field, to do things that it's like his opponents are behind him, like he's a step ahead of his opponents, and then he, like I said, he elevates his teammates and carries them to a level that they otherwise would be incapable of playing at. It's really, really fascinating. And so he did it in college, and I think a lot of people saw him do it in college and questioned whether or not he would be able to do that at the pro level. And he clearly was. I mean, he was doing, when you watched him play, I mean, I just watched him come up to Seattle, which is like the toughest place in the world to win a football game, and he just completely dismantled the Legion of Boom. And now the Seahawks won the game, and he had some bad passes, threw some interceptions, but he just played incredible, and it really reminded me of watching him the same way in college when he shredded Alabama, the best team in the country, twice, 2 years in a row. They played Alabama in the national championship, and Deshaun Watson just completely took over the game 2 years in a row. Now, the first year they lost in a hard-fought game, but the second year they won. He won the game winner. Like, this guy's incredible, man. I know maybe there's some recency bias. I watched some great athletes, but I remember I kind of caught the tail end of Michael Jordan's career live. I watched a lot of his games on video, on YouTube and stuff. But I caught the tail end of his career. He was sort of around the time I was young and started watching basketball was when he was at the tail end of his prime. But just seeing him, the way that Michael Jordan, like when he was on the floor, it was like he just, like, you knew they were going to win. You knew he was going to dominate. His teammates knew, his opponents knew, like there was just something different, something special about him. And that's the exact same way I feel about Deshaun Watson. And that injury is devastating. It's devastating because the NFL, let's be honest, with all of the stuff going on between everything with the president and the anthem protests and the injuries after injury after injury after injury to star players, Deshaun Watson was really the story of the year as far as exciting, positive things on the field. And so to have him suffer that injury is just devastating. But one thing that I am sure about is that he is going to come back strong. He's going to come back better than ever. He already tore an ACL in college and came back and won a national championship and went to 2. So I have no doubt in my mind he's going to come back. I think he's going to lead the Texans to a Super Bowl sooner rather than later. I mean, he said he's going to come back strong and better than ever. And I don't doubt anything he says. I don't doubt anything that anyone around him tells me about him and how good he can be and the things he can do. I really don't think there's a limit. I think a lot of athletes have a ceiling. They have a limit. I don't think he's one of them. I think he could grow. If he retires as the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying he will. I'm not guaranteeing that he will. But if he did, if by the time he retires, he's got 5 Super Bowl rings and 5 MVPs and he's the all-time leading passer, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, there's literally nothing this guy could do that wouldn't surprise me. He's an outstanding human being off the field as well. I saw that after Hurricane Harvey hit in Houston, he went and used his money, and mind you, he's a rookie, so it's not like he's just drowning in millions, but he went and used his game check to go bless people who were affected by the hurricane. He's just man, this guy's incredible. And like I said, he doesn't even play for my team, but I can't help but root for him. I was like, when the Texans played the Seahawks on this past weekend, I was rooting for the Seahawks to win, of course, but it was like Deshaun Watson was making plays and I wasn't even upset. Like, usually if my team's playing against the other team, I'm obviously, I want the other team to do bad, but Deshaun Watson was making all these throws and I was like, I don't know, kind of secretly happy. I mean, I wanted the Seahawks to win. I'm glad they did, but it was kind of the dream come true for me because the Seahawks won, but then Deshaun Watson just completely balled out. And I'm just praying that he comes back stronger than ever. I can't wait to watch him play again next year. All right, guys. You heard it here first. Don't be surprised when Deshaun makes his big comeback, comes back and tears up the league. But seriously, though, man, I'm going to be praying for a speedy recovery for him because, first of all, for his sake, but also if you're a fan of the game, we need him healthy and ready to go. So I appreciate you guys watching. Take care. See you next time.